So HP have already dropped the hardware of WebOS, but what do we think of the new HP Pre 3? Watch this full HD video review with me, Mark Brown, and find out exactly what I think. Okay, so you've probably heard the news already that HP has given up its entire arm of its PC business, and unfortunately that includes the HP touchpad, which was released just 2 months ago, and the newly released HP Pre 3. In fact, the announcement came just the day after the official launch of the HP Pre 3. So I can't begin to describe how disappointed I was with HP and this announcement of theirs. So before we start, I want to say a massive thank you to the guys over at handtech.co.uk who kindly sent us this review copy of the HP Pre 3 after HP cancelled our review copy. After the video is finished, check out their website. It's handtech.co.uk and they do a great range of mobile phones and handheld gadgets. I'll give you a link to their website in the video description and at the end of the video. So let's get straight on with the review.
The HP Pre 3 features a speedy 1.4 GHz processor, 512 MB of RAM and 8 GB of onboard storage. There's a 5 megapixel camera with autofocus, flash and the ability to record in full 720p HD. The camera is fast and here you can see some actual footage we shot just outside our office. Not the best, but pretty good for a camera of this size. One thing which sets this aside from the usual iPhone and Android gang is its slide-out QWERTY keyboard. Now, I've never been a big fan of keyboards on phones, but let me say this loud, this one is really great. Easily one of the best keyboards I've used on a phone, including the latest BlackBerry range. Even though the keyboard gets a thumbs up from me, I would have liked to have seen the option of an on-screen keyboard too. When you power the phone on, you're greeted with the excellent WebOS operating system. And those of you lucky enough to get a cheap touchpad last week will know exactly how good this really is. For those of you who have never seen WebOS, let me give you a quick preview. All applications are run as open cards. When you want to open a new app, simply slide up to view your running apps. When you want to close an app, simply flick the app off the screen. Amazing. WebOS also features stacks, which is the ability to group apps together. So for example, if you're working on email, you can group together pictures, the web and your inbox, whilst music and games could run in another stack. Notifications are also great. They simply pop up from the bottom of the screen in a really nice, unobtrusive manner. In my opinion, better than both iOS 5 and the latest Android options. Another thing I love is Synergy. It's basically WebOS's way of bringing in all of your accounts from various online systems such as LinkedIn, Facebook and Skype directly into your phone. If someone updates their address details online, it's reflected in your phone book right away, and to me that's a great feature to make sure you never miss a beat. Another thing we really like is the optional touchstone charger. Simply pop the Pre onto the dock and you're charging wirelessly.
Okay, so now for the conclusion. Would I recommend this phone? You see, it's really difficult with this review because normally a phone would have a future, and in this case, sadly, it's looking like HP are not going to give this phone a future. You see, as a phone, and let's go through that first, as a phone, it's really good. I mean, WebOS works great. I think it multitasks better than any Android or iPhone phone. The keyboard is probably one of the best I've ever used on a mobile phone, and that includes BlackBerries. The feel of the phone is good, and the actual device works fast, and Synergy is really good, especially if you're a business user. Like I said, you can get all of your contacts and everything instantly updated and backed up as well, which I think is a great plus. But then you've got the major negative point. On the App Store, there aren't many apps, and you can't really blame app developers on this one because who's going to make apps for a phone which is no longer supported? Now, with the recent HP touchpad reductions, obviously millions of people now own an HP touchpad, so we may see that swing round. Developers may get on the case because it's looking like a lucrative market at the minute. But, you know, with no future coming from HP, it's really hard to recommend a phone with not many apps and not much of a future. So I could only really recommend this phone if you're maybe a business user looking for a good smartphone and you don't really need the use of many apps. Because Out of the box, it works fine. You can Skype video call, you can Twitter, you can go on Facebook, use your calendars, all of that works fine. So don't worry about that. It does work great. If you've got an HP touchpad, you can use the touch to share function, which you can't do with any other phone. So really only get this phone if you don't need up-to-date apps and it's fine the way it is at the moment. Otherwise, as a reviewer, I would have to recommend either an Android or an iPhone device. And I think it's a real shame because this phone had a lot of legs. And I think if HP had just continued a little while longer, they would have seen the customer base slowly build for this. I think if someone else does buy WebOS, and the rumors are that it could be Samsung or HTC, who knows, then I would like to see a WebOS phone without a keyboard and a virtual keyboard like you get in an Android or an iPhone, for example. So I hope you've enjoyed the review. You can follow me on Twitter, it's @editorskeys, and don't forget to check out handtech.co.uk. They were the guys who kindly sent over the Pre 3, and without them there would have been no review at all. So big thank you to them, and make sure you check out their website. Don't forget to leave your posts and comments below, and I'll make sure we get back to you as soon as possible. I'll see you again soon on our YouTube channel.